And away we go. Hello everyone, and thank you again for joining for the second episode in the DezmondCast podcast. I'm very lucky this evening as I've got two guests, both former boxers. One was professional and the other one had a very good amateur career. So firstly on my left, I've got Jamie Arthur, who back in 2002 managed to score a gold medal in the Commonwealth Games. He was the first Welsh person to score a gold medal in over 40 years. And then he advanced into the professional ranks and managed to grab a Welsh title, and he competed for the British.
And I boxed there, and I won the Commonwealth professional title as well. So I'm the only man to win the Commonwealth Games and the Commonwealth title from Wales.
Class.
So, yeah.
And not many else have done that, I don't think.
No,
anyway.
no. All I can say is there was only, at the time, 3 Welshmen to ever win a gold medal for Wales in the Commonwealth Games. Howard Winston, 1958, Dennis Reed in 1938, and me in 2002. So,
Class.
Yeah, quite a journey. Yeah.
Quite a journey, mate. And on the furthest on my left, we've got Vinny Powell, whose greatest achievement was being my trainer as an amateur back in the day. but in all reality, Vinny has got quite a lot of accolades and titles himself as an amateur. If you wouldn't mind just chatting a little bit about that, Vin.
Well, I started boxing at a young age, but I must have, before you said my greatest accolade was I was your trainer, but before you went to the Commonwealth Games.
He was my trainer as well.
I wasn't your trainer. That goes to your personal trainer, but I run the training camps. As the army boxing coach.
That's right, yeah.
He's up there.
Which is a massive help. Massive help. Like I say, that give us the professionalism in order to be able to get in the right mood for the Commonwealth Games, which was amazing.
I think what helped was the sparring you had up there as well, because we had the whole army team we could utilise at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And some tough kids, tough fit kids, yeah.
The tough boys, they'll have a go.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's what pulls the Welsh through, because they haven't had the same school as the English get.
Yeah, totally.
And the upbringing, the exposure. I think you've got to be really tough as a Welshman to succeed, especially in tournaments like that, which you've done.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. And that's where fundamentally the Welsh kids are always fighting the full box. Yeah, strong, fit, hard.
You have a bit of defence and attack about you.
Yeah.
But going back to the question, Ethan, I started boxing. My father was a professional boxer, and he got me into it at a young age.
I never knew that.
Well, he boxed when he was younger and went back when he was in his 30s, I think. Probably get a couple of bob more than anything. I don't think he wanted to achieve a lot, but he always wanted me to do it, and he took me to the gym when I was younger. And I did an exhibition, was 9 or 10, first fight 11, and then got me through, Welsh Championships. I won about 3 schoolboys, 2 youth, and then carried on. I joined the army at 16, and then I carried on boxing then and won the army title when I was 17, I think, and then went on through. I sort of left that alone, and I went in my army career.
Yeah.
And as I went through that, I really left it alone for a little while. I just had a couple of fights down in Plymouth for a local club. That's a bit more of a hobby than
I thought you were going to see on the street then.
Yeah, probably a few of them as well.
Probably, to be fair.
Yeah, we won't talk about them. But there are a few stories there, which I don't know how much you want me to go into, but
we'll keep it clean.
We'll keep it clean.
But
the good thing is I can move about, and if they didn't go over, they wouldn't catch me, because I kept myself quite fit.
Was your southpaw orthodox? Orthodox fighter, wasn't you?
You just watched me fight, aren't you?
Yeah,
which I will link on the channel. Vinny has got a little YouTube channel where.
Was your southpaw orthodox?
Well, actually, I should be a southpaw because I'm left-handed, but I was a false orthodox.
Okay.
So I leave my left.
Yeah, I get you.
Which a few people found out because that was my strongest hand.
Yeah.
And then I went on to, when I came back into it, I don't really want too much about myself. We'll cut on the next question. I'll come back into that.
No problem.
Yeah.
So James, what Vinny just said. How about yourself? How did you get into boxing, and where did it all start for you?
Yeah, I started boxing when I was 9 years old. The reason why I started boxing is because I was getting bullied. I was born in Scotland, so I moved down from Scotland when I was 6, and I was literally getting bullied by my next door neighbour, and then another guy who used to live across the green. So literally every day that I came out, from the age of 6 years on, really, they just pick on me, steal my balls, steal my money, call me names, just break my confidence, ugly, ginger, Scottish. It just absolutely broke me. And Chris Manley, who lived just opposite me, you know Chris really well.
Very, very well.
Yeah, he had a amateur boxing gym, which was in the woods just behind my primary school. One night, I built up a confidence to literally, go up to the door, and if anything, just because the gym is literally in a
The old
wooded
Adventure
area.
Training Centre.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know this because I grew up just next to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just by Cardiff School.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come on to this.
Yeah.
Because
so,
I used to go there. And no one knew I boxed with Cardiff as well. It's a bit of a...
yeah. So,
later on in life.
So literally, like I said, this is in a wooded area. So I had confidence when I was 9 years old, and I was looking in for the door, and there was two giants in there, the McCormacks, Brendan and Kevin McCormack. Kevin was like 9 times on 10 times ABA champion, huge heavyweight. Brendan was a couple of times ABA champion, and they was like intimidating, you know.
Yeah.
One night I was looking in for the door, and Kevin come past, and he said, "Oh, come on in." So I sat and watched from the outside or on the bench for a couple of times, and then Chris allowed me to get involved and start training. And I had my first fight when I was 10 years old. So that's literally how I started boxing, because I was getting picked on by my neighbour and one of the other boys that lived opposite me.
I think a lot of kids have that, maybe like a little bit of an issue with actually going into a boxing gym, don't they? Because it's like
Definitely.
it's, testosterone filled environment.
Definitely.
Blokes smashing bags and that, and if you're not used to that sort of pressure when you're walking in, you've got all those people.
Exactly. And as you know now, I run my own boxing gym, and so that's one of the questions or worries a lot of people get, whether it be women that want to come in and do boxing, whether older guys or whether kids.
Yeah.
Now, is there stigma of being a boxing gym and everybody's going to be aggressive or not very nice? You know, so it's just breaking that stigma and making them realise that, especially when you've got a good coach, somebody is there to be able to build you up and build your confidence to be able to make you better. That's where we was very lucky with Chris Manley, because he was like a mentor to me. You know, he helped me with regards to obviously my boxing side of things, but also my confidence in myself and my self-belief.
Yeah.
And that's what a good coach does, or a good mentor.
Class.
There's a lot of coincidence tying in here. I actually went to Pontywenny, which is where my father boxed. There's an old coach up there called Jack Evans, who took my father's when he was professionally boxing. So he liked to take me up there, but I had great sparring up there with a lad called Sparky Jenkins and other lads that turned up, and lots of gypsies come down to spar, which really brought me on, because they were tough kids. Mad really, because Cardiff Boxing Club was just 200 metres from my house.
Yeah.
And it was just my father's way to take me all the way up there all the time to train. Obviously I knew the Manleys, I knew the Keenans as well, that boxed there.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And
Christian, Ian.
Christian, Ian, Russell.
That's right, yeah. Russell wasn't a bad kid either, was he, really?
Russell was a good kid, he beat some good kids.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, I boxed Russell in the prelims of the World Championships.
Oh, wow, okay.
Years later we become best mates.
Wow.
We're still in touch now.
Yeah, I haven't seen Russell for a long time.
And
Now,
funny thing,
what's he doing now?
he lives in Killeen with a girl.
Yeah.
And I phoned him up recently, and just because we lost touch, I need to go and see him really, I should do, but he gave me some very sad news that Chris had passed away.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You knew this,
Yeah, I
didn't you?
knew, yeah, of course, yeah.
Chris and Mike Manley, I mean, two of the best coaches I thought ever existed. They were great.
Old school, weren't they?
Old school. When I used to go up there as a kid and spar, because there wasn't much sparring up at Pontywenny, so I used to go up the road. Our training days was Monday, Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah.
But yours was Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday.
Well, when I started, it was Monday, Wednesday and Friday as well.
Ah, right, so it changed then.
Yeah.
But in my time, it was Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. So I used to go up and train up there and just spar loads. After I boxed Russell, I used to spar up there.
This is a proper spit and sawdust gym.
Yeah.
Spit and sawdust gym. It wasn't really sparring.
Yeah, it was just a shed, really. Right? Big shed, roof leaking all the time, buckets just catching the rain, dirty showers, just cold water, no nothing. Yeah.
Proper Google.
And that's when Kevin McCormack was there as well. I knew Kevin because Kevin's father, good friends with my father from the Irish club.
They had, that's right, yeah, they had a construction company, didn't they?
That's right, yeah, and they still live there on Endless Way.
But prior to obviously going to the Commonwealth, how did you two actually meet before?
I can't.
We knew. I think the first time maybe was when this is where coincidence started tying in, and another coincidence. Kevin McCormack went and joined the Royal Marines, which Ethan's a Royal Marine as well.
Yeah.
And that's mad, isn't it?
Soon to be leaving.
That's gone off.
Yeah, that's still playing. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, the old camera that's going in the background.
Yeah.
What was the question?
How did you two meet prior to the Commonwealth? Yeah.
I can't remember if
I think the first time was when, the funny thing is, I used to coach you at Brecon, and we went down to box somewhere, and you boxed a lad, and his coach was Jamie Spence.
Yeah.
And he was one of my lads on the army boxing team. And when he left the army, I went down and we matched you up with that lad. And the coincidence is that it was Jamie Spence that you boxed in your first round of Welsh.
That's right, yeah. That's right,
before you went on through to win the Welsh
because
on the Commonwealth Games.
He was the reigning Welsh champion.
He was the reigning Welsh champion.
And well, I may as well go into details. Like I say, I will go back and say, like I say, unfortunately I grew up in quite a rough area. A lot of crime, a lot of drink, a lot of drugs. And in 1999, I ended up going to prison. So, literally went to prison. While I was in prison, I had an affirmation, okay, that I was going to win a Commonwealth Games gold medal. And I told everybody I was going to win a Commonwealth Games gold medal.
Wow.
Yeah, while I was in prison, yeah. I wasn't Welsh champion, I wasn't in the Welsh team, I wasn't anything to do with Welsh boxing. I was in prison. So, I was doing 18 months prison sentence. I got out on December the 19th, 2 days after my birthday. Welsh Championships at the time was in January. Okay, I had a tag on my leg, and I boxed Jamie Evans, who was a reigning Welsh champion for a good couple of years beforehand, I think. I boxed him in the first round of the championships on a Saturday afternoon with my tag still on my leg. And beat him. And then I had another 2 more fights in the championships where obviously I become Welsh champion, and that's what gave me the opportunity to go to the Commonwealth Games. Yeah, so like I said, I had an affirmation in prison that I was going to win a Commonwealth Games gold medal. And then I brought it into existence by telling everybody, and
you done it.
And I did, yeah. And like I said, the first gold medalist since Howard Winston, 1958. Don't know how it happened, and yeah, that's...
Well, as coincidences go as well, which we've been talking about here, you boxed one of my lads in the first round of it. Then I was the army coach, and you had 2 training camps at 2 weeks at a time, didn't you?
Yeah, 2 weeks and then 1 week, I think, wasn't it?
No, it was 2 week spells, yeah.
Up in Aldershot, yeah.
Up in Aldershot. And we also had the opportunity, they asked us to do the security up there as the army boxing team. So we went up there, and they've been sparring and training with all the Welsh teams. So we went up there as security for the games. So I got to watch all your fights.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And
how many fights did you have?
I had 5 fights in 1 week, yeah.
Yeah, and I was in the first fight when he boxed in Mark Hasty.
That's right, yeah, Mark Hasty.
I was screaming at him because I was coaching him through.
Yeah.
And I think he was down on the computer system. There was the computer system at the time.
Yeah,
and I was I went into this corner. I went, Jamie, and the coaches looked at me, and I went, Jamie, we worked on double phases. Come on, phase of attacks. Go in, go again. You beat this boy. And I was shouting at him. And I was security, so no one could pull me away because I was security.
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
And actually, Mark Hasty,
and you went around, turn it around like that, turn it around, and got through, and then I've been the other fights. Yeah,
I'll tell you something about Mark Hasty now. So, obviously, Mark Hasty, who's the Scottish champion, probably 6-8 weeks prior, maybe, in the British Championships anyway, I'd lost to Mark Hasty. Big, strong, hard kid. In the first round of the Commonwealth Games, obviously got drawn against him. So it's like, obviously, at this time I was a different boxer then. My mentality was different. I had that premonition, okay? Yeah, boxed his head off. He caught me with a right hand in the last 10-15 seconds of the third round and gave me concussion. Yeah, basically hit me hard. Yeah, it wasn't to a point of where I was shaking up or anything like that. Yeah, I boxed his head off. I think I'd beaten him like 21-10, something like that. But I had to hide away from the doctor then, so you didn't see my eyes, my pupils dilate, because like I say, he caught me with such a good shot, my pupils dilated, I shot off, because I was fighting in, like a day later, yeah, but that's something that, obviously when you're in a tournament like that, you just have to just crack on and get on with,
How did you feel about fighting with a concussion?
Well, like I say, it was right at the end of the round, so,
yeah,
it was just,
just took it and just...
Yeah.
Soldiered on, like...
Yeah, exactly. But
Well, I think what you've done though, I must have been aching to that tournament.
Yeah.
The thing is,
I'd have to make the weight, and then I'd put the weight back on because I'd eat. Then the next morning I have to make the weight again, and then put it back on. So
I didn't realise I had to weigh you before every fight.
every fight, yeah, you can't just. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So if you're like draining yourself to get out of that weight, you can't really like smash your food in.
And that's what it is. So I'd make the weight, then I'd fight, then I'd have some food, and then the next morning, if I wasn't fighting the next day, because like say I had 5 fights in a week, or in the evening after the fight, I'd have to go and burn off the calories to be able to be back down to weight the next day.
Ideal.
Yeah,
What
literally
you've done
living in
out
the
there,
sauna.
And it's what I think these lads do. I mean, especially the ones way up there in the world rankings. You wanted the time, but you seem to improve
Yeah,
as you went through it. You know,
Definitely.
you seem to improve as people
Yeah.
seem to waver. You seem to improve, and in the
Honest
finals
God.
you just went for it. Because I think you was down in the finals and you turned it round the last
Yeah.
round.
Oh,
If I remember right.
well, I was fighting the final.
Dennis Zimba.
Dennis Zimba from Zambia. He's boy boxing the Commonwealth Games again. Now,
It was him, was it?
It was, yeah, it was, which is amazing because obviously 2 kids from
Wow.
Zambia.
Feels good.
to represent
And the Welsh
South.
boy beat him in the finals as well.
That's
wasn't
right. Yeah, that's right. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Repeat
Croft,
the history,
Croft.
like.
it? Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So all the way through these fights, like I wasn't even watching the boys, and
Yeah.
I'd say to the boys, "So how's this kid box?" Like I boxed some good, really good kids. Obviously, they were champions of every country they was from.
They're the champion of the country. They're not going to be.
And
Yeah.
I'd ask the
They'd be
boys,
dogs,
I'd be
like.
boxing, they'd say he's a boxer, and I'd say, right, here's what I'm going to do, I'm going to box like this. So sometimes I'd box on my toes and just looking all flash and box the head off. And then sometimes I'd have a toe-to-toe war.
Yeah.
I boxed a boy, what was his name, from Malaysia. The Malaysian kid was probably, he was one of the hardest fights. I stopped him on the 20-point rule, but he was very, very good, you know.
Yeah.
And he was a very good fighter. And that probably was one of the hardest fights. And I boxed a boy from Botswana who cut me on the nose. And I was lucky to get through that with a because you had Kevin Evans and Tony Dockley both got stopped from bleeding noses, or Kevin Evans especially.
That was.
They got stopped because of bleeding noses. Where, like I say, I had a cut here, but that was in the
And they
semi-finals.
were two of the
We had
favourites to
carry
do
on.
well, weren't they?
Yeah, I wasn't. Anybody was going to
No.
expect it to
They
win
come out the
anything.
blue.
Yeah, nobody
Tony-
expected me to win
Didn't,
anything.
didn't Tony Dockley turn pro?
Yeah,
He
After
did.
that, He did. He boxed with down in Newbridge, didn't he?
for a little while.
For a little while.
Yeah, I
So you
think Vince.
so you went in there though, Jane, pretty much like full underdog.
Totally.
No one
Nobody
expected you to
expected
win
me to
it.
do anything. Nobody even knew my name with the BBC and what have you. And as I was coming through, and like, they was obviously I was
Yeah.
starting to win, and the last one in there, and then won it. And do you know the crazy thing about it is, like I was living in Torvine at the time, and because I got selected to go to the Commonwealth Games, there was a guy called Bob Woundon who was a counsellor.
Yeah.
I asked him for some support. He'd said, "Yeah, I'll give you some. I'll give you a check for some equipment, whatever." And I got them, but like, okay, I was 22 years old, I think, at the time. Like I had a partner, I had a
Yeah.
little baby. I was going up to Aldershot training.
Yeah.
That was my somewhat a profession, but I had no income coming in. So
Yeah.
I asked Bob Woundon for a little bit of support from the community if they could do it. He said, "Yeah, no problem." He said, "Come up to St Joseph's Club and I'll give you a check." I went up there on the Sunday when he said, didn't even bother turning up. I phoned him Monday, he said, "Oh, I forgot all about it. Come up in next week, I'll do it next week." Went up in next week, he said, "Like, I'm going to give you this envelope now. There's no check in there, but I'll give you the check like next week." Well, I said, "No, I'm not doing that." Yeah. I said, "I'm not doing that."
What was his bloke?
Bob Wound, and he was a counsellor, which was really bad, like, you know, and like I
Yeah.
said, no support at all. So didn't give me anything. So I had to struggle and do it all myself. My father had to buy tickets off touts up at the Commonwealth Games because none was given to us. Yeah, so they had to pay over the odds to be able to come in to watch me. My father and my amateur boxing coach Chris Manley. Right, like I said,
Wow.
no support from the council or anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want a gold medal, come back, then everybody wants me, yeah? Or big mayors, parlours and events. Bob Woundon then come up and said, for what you've done for Torvine and Welsh boxing, here's a cheque for £500. So I took it. I said, and I've done a speech, I said, "I really appreciate it, the cheque that you're giving me." But I said, "I needed this on the run up to the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
I said, now I've won the gold medal, I don't need it now. So I donated it to Chris Manley and the local boxing club.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everybody jumps on a bandwagon when you've done something.
Yeah.
And
I mean, every time I mention the name Chris Manley, special man, Mike Manley.
Yeah,
great,
amazing.
Great coaches.
Yeah.
You know, the time they put into it, and that family in boxing as well.
Yeah,
And
Mike won a British title, boxed for the British title, didn't he, as a professional?
Boxed for the British title. I mean, Mike Manley boxed Kirkland Lang.
Did he?
And yeah, they used to go. They actually going as things like they actually used to go to Pontywenid when they were younger. And that's
right. Yeah.
There's a photo of my father with the Manleys. My father. That's why my father knew them because they used to box the same club together.
Well, yeah.
And a bit more talented my father, I think. But Mike has a very good professional boxing record.
Who's that?
Mike Manley.
Mike, yeah, I can't remember how many he won. I know he boxed for the British title.
Oh, he's boxed the world champion as well, and I can't think of his name. I'll come back to him. But boxed him. He boxed him once and should have had the decision, and boxed him again. And I think he might have got stopped. But yeah, Mike is.
And there was a good, hard, well-known family, wasn't it? And like, because the Manleys was a big family in Cumberland. They run the boxing gym. Then the Goffs, they was the ones that used to pick on me. So Paul Goff used to pick on me. But they was a big, hard family. And then the Applebys, who was also a big, hard family, like 4 brothers, Ian used to pick on me. So like I said, I had Appleby's next door. Yeah.
Did you live right by Fairwood House, did you?
Yeah, not far from there at all. Yeah. A couple of minutes away. Well, yeah, just Pace Road I lived, Mains. So next door to the Applebys and obviously the Goffs. So like I said, you had...
I know where they lived, the Goffs, on the end house, just by the Manleys.
Yeah, that's it. Well, yeah.
And the Coombs.
Coombs, he was next up to me.
Yeah.
Colin Coombs, yeah.
Colin
and Mark and...
Maria Coombs was in school with me.
Shit, man.
Yeah, lovely girl, very fit girl. I always used to pick her at first on sports and all that. There was Brian Coombs, who was actually in
is our brother?
Yeah, Brian was her brother, who was actually in the Royal Engineers.
Was he?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Nice lad.
Yeah.
And there's a younger brother. I can't remember his name.
Mark, I think. Mark Coombs.
Mark Coombs. Brian was the older brother. Marie was the younger sister.
It'd be interesting to see though, like how
funny,
if anyone can, if anyone watches this video where they actually see
a
relation or they know someone,
people say, "Where's Vinny been for the last?"
And then he
36 years.
Yeah.
Shows up on Ethan's amateur podcast.
Where's Vinny been?
Yeah.
I've been away.
He's turned up. But
I've lived in Iraq for 10.
Yeah, it's crazy. Isn't it?
Cutting around.
It's funny how life goes on, isn't it?
It is, definitely. And like I said, it's such a journey because it just takes you in a direction and then you just roll with it and then it just amalgamates into like a bit of a future and then obviously then like with regards to my boxing career for instance. So as I said, while I was in prison I had this affirmation I was going to win a gold medal. Come out, won a gold medal, then turned professional with Frank Warren.
Which is sorry, James. Which is what I was going to ask you actually.
Yeah, no worries.
I was actually going to cut in there because my question was after you win the Commonwealth Games, and you do turn professional, what sort of clout were you getting with promoters actually trying to sign you?
Yeah, like obviously Frank Warren at the time he was one of the biggest promoters. Yeah, Eddie Earn wasn't around so much.
Yeah.
Well, especially younger Eddie Earn. So Frank Warren was my promoter. Frank Maloney, which is now Kelly Maloney.
I spoke to Kelly
that was my manager.
a couple of Christmases ago.
Yeah.
Because I had a number and I was looking for work coming out of Iraq and I had these numbers on my phone. I thought, let's delete all the numbers that I don't need.
Yeah.
So I phoned people up to see if they'd answer. And if they didn't answer, I gave them the phone number so I could keep my phone up. So I phoned up Frank and I didn't realise it was Kelly now. And I was chatting away.
Yeah.
There was no issues there. Fair enough,
Each their own, but like I say, Frank was my promoter, and then Kelly Maloney, or Frank at the time, was my manager. So I had a sign on fee and what have you, because at the time as well, because obviously the Commonwealth Games in Manchester, so a lot of the foreign fighters, they ended up becoming somewhat illegal immigrants in this country, because they just didn't go back to their country, so they stayed over here. So we had a good group of international good fighters just been to the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
Was getting signed by all the British promoters. So it was some big interest in me when I turned pro.
Sorry, pardon me.
Kazaki was obviously flying the flag at the time as
Yeah.
well. Well, when I actually signed with Frank Warren, I'd done it at the Castle when Joe was fighting Byron Mitchell, I believe. Yeah, so I'd actually got picked up by Joe in his Porsche, driven down to Cardiff Castle, with him. Met Frank Warren, signed the contract for my professional contract. Yeah.
I mentioned Joe Kazagi. I was on about my 15th fight. Joe's a couple of years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I still got it anymore, Joe's first fight. I was at boxing the same show in Joe's first fight in Gerlin's Workman's Club in Cumbrae.
Yeah.
That's where his first fight against a lad who joined the army. Mark Stock, I think it was, or Chris Stock or something, where he lost on a split decision in his first fight. Claims he didn't, but he did because it's on video.
Yeah.
But and he was like a windmill. But when he brought them windmills in, Christ, he was a machine.
He had a serious engine on him, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
I remember going to the ABAs, and he was a talent then. I was a couple of years older than him, and I was boxing up in Liverpool, I think it was. And I had not been very well for a couple of weeks. I wasn't confident in the fight. I didn't want to box, and you do that as a kid, I suppose. But he come in when I was warming up, and he said, "Oh, I've seen this kid. Yeah, I've seen him warming up. You beat him. I'm going to beat mine."
How old is Joe? Is he about the same age as you?
No, Joe's about 2 years younger than me. He's only 53.
Yeah.
He'd be 51, I think. I believe. And I always remember him going to the ABAs. I always used to get up the semis, and he used to win the finals. He used to go to the finals and win them. And I remember my coach, great man, Rhys Evans, who was the son of Jack Evans, who used to take my dad, Jack Evans, at Ponty Wendy. And Jack Evans had all the Manleys as well. And Rhys Evans was brilliant. Brilliant in the fact that he'd matched me with all the tough kids on the valleys, which made me a great boxer for the future.
Sometimes,
you know? He never used to really take me on the pads, and my father had done that, but Rhys Evans was brilliant. But he inspired a level of confidence in me, which some coaches do, and some coaches do not.
Yeah.
And a level of confidence he gave me, I was very nervous once for a fight in the AB semi-finals.
Oh, boxing stopped. Get it going.
Yeah.
Come on, we need this going.
Hang on, you stopped me in mid-sentence.
Mid-convo.
Apologies.
But Rhys Evans was a great... I don't think he probably realised it. And Angelo Dundee wrote a book called Only Talk Winning.
Oh, okay.
And I used that when I done a sports psychology diploma.
Yeah.
I used his book, but I put captions in there after my old coach, What Made You? And I remember once I was really nervous for a fight up in the AB semis, I think it was, up in, as a schoolboy, up in Birmingham when we went up, when we drew them. I can't remember, it was a long time ago. I said, my mouth's really dry. And I couldn't spit out of my mouth, nerves it was, you get them.
Yeah.
I tried to spit. And I thought, and he said, yeah, you know what that is, don't you? When your spit is clear and dry. I said, no, I don't. I was like about 14, I think, or 13, 14. That's fitness.
Yeah. Just give you that little
health.
boost. Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? That's fitness and health. When you're clear and dry, and Crispy said that's fitness. And when you climb in that ring,
Boxers are like boxing, good boxing coaches like mentors, and they just give you that belief.
Yeah.
That belief. And he put that belief in it. When you climb in that ring, he said, you will be amazed. By
Do you know what I found with...
So I walked out and I went to fight this lad who was a bit of a clumper as a kid. And normally as a kid I walked out and I walked out to fight this lad and he whacked me in the head and I seen stars straight away. I was like, ding, 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 ding. I thought, well, here's my fitness.
Yeah.
I went out, I beat the lad But I thought, my coach done that for me.
Yeah.
By inspiring that confidence in me.
Definitely. Do you know what I found with Chris, like I said, Chris Manley
He's another
was
one.
a big, he was like a well-known guy, and he was a hard man, right?
Yeah.
Lovely
Boxers.
man, sweet man.
Are like dogs. This is going to sound quite crazy, right? When you got a good coach that you love and respect and you don't want to let them down,
Yeah.
you'll do anything that you can to be able to not let them down. I have dogs. I have 4 dogs, okay? My dogs love me to death, regardless of nothing. They'll do anything for me. Wherever I go, they'll be at my side. They'll follow me everywhere. Yeah. They will do everything they can to be able to make me happy. Yeah? And a good boxer and a good coach relationship is exactly like that. Because a trainer will tell the boxer what to do, and they put all their belief and trust in them that is the right information to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was where I was very lucky with regards to having Chris in my corner that just made me
I have to
I
add
loved him
something
to
here.
death.
I cannot get the accolade for these lads going to Commonwealth Games. I just put a training camp together.
Yeah.
The accolade goes to the Manleys
Yeah.
for what they've done for
Manley's
this
and also Kevin Owls. Kevin Owls, right? Because
what a great man he is. He won a British title as a schoolboy.
Yeah, because with Kevin,
What a
like,
man he is.
when I come out of prison,
Yeah.
as I said, I had a tag on my leg, so I had to be
Excellent
on at
bloke.
7 o'clock at night, so I couldn't go
What a
training
great
because
coach.
the gym started at 7.
And a great
So
man he is.
Kevin Owls used to train me every day while Chris Manley was in work. So Kevin
Yeah.
Owls was the one that also helped me to be able to win that gold medal. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to do it because he
Kevin Owls
trained
was-
me like a
yeah.
he trained me
Yeah.
brilliantly. Chris
I
Manley
didn't know
and
he
his-
trained you up to you for that. I know
Chris
you were
Manley
close.
with his years, because I started when I was 9. I'd boxed on Commonwealth Games when I was 22. So Chris Manley's methods and training and like how he taught me, that's what came into it. But Kevin Owls is time, effort, and work that he put into me. That's what helped me with it.
Wasn't it the blue with the yellow stripe?
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
remember,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But even what you literally just said there, though, at the start, it's funny how your relationship with your trainer will change you. Because I remember when Vinny was training me, I boxed this guy like down in Swansea, and I've got the video on the YouTube channel. But when I boxed him, I come back after the first round, and I sat down in the corner. Even though I'd boxed his head off, in my head, I had like underperformed, and I sat down, and I literally said, "Oh." Exact words were, "I feel absolutely knackered," and he just turned to me and looked at me. Started like, you giggled a little bit,
Yeah.
and you went, "What are you talking about?" It's like, keep doing what you're doing, like you're smashing him.
Yeah.
And you know, you take those words, and those words can literally can turn into your motivation, and you
Big
just
time.
smash it.
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
definitely.
Boxing's a funny game because it doesn't matter how fit you are. When you go out there, I've reached points of levels of fitness where I just haven't felt tired. But sometimes, and most of the time, when you go out there, for some reason, you think, oh, these rounds ahead of you, but you go out there in the first round, you just feel knackered straight away.
Yeah.
It's a weird
I've
sport.
it's the nerves and the
'cause
adrenaline, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had boys with me like that have, like at one stage I had 20 amateur boxers and I had 6 professional fighters, right,
Yeah.
training and managing them. So they've come from being senior professional boxing, doing 3 3-minute rounds, and then when they turn pro, all they're doing is 4 3-minute rounds. Because they're doing an extra round, knackered as soon as they get in the first round, because the nerves and anticipation just takes everything out of them. Yeah.
Do you know one of the greatest progression of amateur boxing I've seen was Audley Harrison?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I remember lads on the army team beating him, Danny Watts beat him, people beat him, and you know, fair play to the bloke, he stuck at it, and I respect him. So, and God rest his soul, Danny Watts passed away now. Absolutely amazing bloke, so witty. He used to make you laugh. You sit in this room now, we wouldn't be starting to talk, we'd be laughing.
Yeah.
Very, very funny lad, and you know, great boy. But Danny Watts wasn't that special. I think he was a sparring partner for David Aid one time as well. But Audley Harrison went from building it up, and I think he started late in boxing, but he went from sort of nothing to the EB champion, to the Commonwealth champion, to the Olympic champion.
Yeah.
And he spoke, the words he spoke, you know, the way he spoke about it, he was so positive in his mind, was really great to listen to.
Yeah,
Because if you need
definitely.
motivational talks about boxing, that's the man to listen to.
Yeah.
Sadly, when he turned professional, he seemed to lost it all. Even though he done, to me, to what he achieved as a professional was amazing.
Yeah.
I can remember when
I think
all
he
the hours
lost
and
it.
boxed Deontay Wilder, right, in Sheffield Arena. I had Bradley Price boxing on the same bill, right. It was like in a big airplane hangar, right, this arena they was in, and Audley Harrison was boxing Deontay Wilder. I can remember being at the back of the arena and hearing Deontay Wilder's punches thudding off Audley Harrison's head, right, like it was like a
Missile landing.
boom, boom, devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating. And like obviously, because he had £1 million signing on fee with BBC, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he was,
Yeah, I remember.
and let's face it, he was boxing kids that all professional fighters, when they turn over and they're on the right side of the card, they're boxing kids that they're learning through. But Audley Harrison done it in the public eye. That's where people started calling him Audley Harrison. But that's bullshit, because at the end of the day, every professional fighter has that journey. But he was just doing it like he was headlining because he was an Olympian.
Yeah.
That was the only downside to his thing. And then when it came down to fighting somebody of any big credentials, then he got knocked out. But still great fighter and still good guy.
Going back to what you mentioned, it seemed to me, and Audley, if we ever see each other again, please correct me, but it seemed to me like exactly what you said. He had fear of the rounds.
Yeah.
For some reason, he seemed to have fear of the 12 or whatever rounds.
And fear of getting hit.
Over
Because it's
3
different
rounds.
amateur and professional, isn't it?
Sorry, guys.
You have to be hard to be a professional fighter. Yeah.
I don't know. I think if I was, I think I might have done all right.
Yeah, me too.
But,
Because you're fit and hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think
That's it, isn't it?
I think
Yeah.
a fist hit you in the head is the same as.
Different gloves though. When you got 8-ounce gloves on, and honest to God, like when I boxed in Clettle Ways and I boxed Martin Lindsay, for instance, Martin Lindsay was knocking everybody out, and I boxed Scott Quigg as well, who was knocking everybody out. And these little Clettle Ways gloves that you're wearing, honest to God, you can feel it that close through them. And when you're fighting somebody with them on for 12 rounds,
Yeah, I bet.
it's fucking hard. Yeah, and you're taking these shots. And
You gotta remember.
Yeah.
I had 8-ounce gloves to my amateur.
But they were padded though.
But
when
later
when I boxed Martin Lindsay and Scott Quigg, like honest to God, like I had a 12-round war with Martin Lindsay and I had 8 rounds with Scott Quigg. Honest to God, because you have to have blood tests after.
Scott Quigg's a world champion.
That's right. Yeah, after he won a world title after me, and I knocked him down in the 4th. You have to have drug tests after you, so you pee in a vial.
Yeah.
When I peed in the vial, red. Blood, I was pissing blood. I was pissing blood for about 4 days after these fights, because you're taking so much beating around the body and like, that's honest to God, you could see my vials, they'd be red, full of blood. Yeah, that's what you're going through.
I never.
Serious.
Being in the military, I never had the opportunity to box
You would have done well.
professional, but not many people know this. I was crippled with arthritis at the age of 20, so I went through all my senior boxing career with arthritis all through my body, which I believe didn't make me any better, but it gave me the determination.
Yeah.
But one opportunity I missed, and unfortunately I was out in Iraq at the time, was when I spoke to Jamie and you asked me would I be able to come down and train you.
That's right, yeah. That's right,
And
yeah.
I'd
That's
love
what I
to.
wanted,
Do you know, and I was gutted by not having that opportunity, because if I could have done that, I was still. While I was in Iraq, I was a racing horse. I was fit as a fiddle. I was still boxing training out there. I was training lads that wanted to go under the white collar boxing, still keep myself in shape. And one opportunity, and thank you so much for asking me. It means a lot to me. And I'd love to do that.
When I was up in Aldershot, I could see your credential. I could see your skill set, your knowledge, and everything. And that's what.
I just wish that I was in Iraq at the time on these 8 and 4 rotations, where if I'd had that opportunity, I know I'd have helped you.
Yeah.
And you've had a confidence in me. Like we talked about coaches, I believe you had the faith in me. Perhaps you could have done something, but it's an opportunity in life missed for me. And I regret that.
Yeah. But it's quite a good feeling though, even when you've not boxed for a long time and you go to a gym like yourself, like your gym, James.
Yeah.
and you get amongst the training, and you forget all the old, all your old habits that you train out of you, and then you don't box for a long time, and then they come straight back into you, like your elbows up, and working off your back foot and making sure that you're not overworking, you're pinging your shots. Like coming to your gym has been like class because your training style is so close to Vinny's.
Thank you.
And
he copied me, that's why.
of course he copied you.
Right, I got better, right, so I retired first time, I think in 2012, I think it was 2012, so I turned pro 2002, and then 2005 I might have retired, and then 2008 I come back and I boxed Di Davis for the Welsh title, then I retired again in 2010, then I come back in 2012. I retired like 5 times. Well, anyway, yeah.
I came back for your last fight against Antonio, whatever his name was.
How that.
Yeah, and I literally thought you were in for it.
Yeah. I started learning.
At least
boxing.
you won your last fight.
Yeah, I started learning boxing right when I started coaching people. And I started teaching white collar boxing, right, and then because I was just teaching businessmen.
Yeah.
And like. It's a different type of level of people, right? When you're teaching businessmen, then I was educating them on boxing, right? And that's why they paid me good money to do.
Yeah.
That's when I learned boxing, right?
Okay.
Because when I was boxing, sometimes I was a little bit blinkered, and not paying attention to what I was doing. But it was only when I retired, then I was coaching people, then I would pay attention to angles, and I had to do certain things.
Yeah.
And honest to God, I boxed for the British title, right? No, one for the British title. I can't remember which fight it was. But anyway, I had a coach. I'm not going to mention his name because, like I say, yeah. Right. So I was boxing. I might have been eliminated for the British title. Can't remember which fight it was. But I had to tell my coach how to train me to beat this person because I knew more about boxing than my coach, right?
Okay.
So I would say, right, here's what this guy's going to do, here's how we're going to counteract it, yeah? So I was teaching my coach how to be able to teach me, if you like.
I think a lot of us have experienced that in the past.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that was a bit of a mad situation. But like I said, my coach I was doing that with was a great guy. Yeah. But like I say, with regards to
it's like experience, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But like looking back though, Jamie, on your career as a professional, is there anything that you would change or
if I was
if
I was English, I would got a lot more support.
Yeah.
And looked after a lot better. Being Welsh, you always. Are
you talking about the amateur build up?
Amateur and professional. Amateur and professional. Being Welsh is a detriment for sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't get sport.
The Welsh system has improved. I don't know too much into it. I was a regional coach at the time. And when I was going out to different clubs, I was trying to show lads things and the coaches. All I had was, why you come to our club? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? It was a setup that went on. I realised what was going on when I looked at the national setup at the time, but the way the English setup was and taking lads through, girls through, then it's built up to now.
Better journey, they've got better.
And they're bringing in people. They had it back when I went to the Europeans, the Olympic qualifiers in '96. They had nutritionists.
Yeah.
They had
physiotherapists.
They had people, and the coaches there had gone through it, and they'd been selected. And they exposed these lads to tournaments as well. There wasn't so much out there depth.
Yeah.
And I don't want to really put down the Welsh setup because they didn't have the funding.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
The funding wasn't there.
Yeah.
If the funding was there, they could have done it.
After I won a gold medal, right? So check this out. After I won a gold medal, they wanted me to stay amateur, right? So like I said, I had my boy. I was in a relationship.
Yeah.
They wanted me to be a full-time athlete and I go to the Olympics, right? So after I won the gold, said, what funding is available? They offered me £13,500 a year, but I had to pay for my trips and my training and everything like that as well.
Wow.
Right, so I'd be a full-time professional athlete on £13,500 a year and pay all my training costs. Couldn't afford to do it. On the run up to the Commonwealth Games, English team was getting £500 per week, right? Welsh team got nothing, and as I said to you earlier,
It's the same when you go back to 98, we had nothing.
Nothing at all. After I won the Commonwealth Games, gold medal, first one since Howard Winston, 1958, 44 years, Ray Allen came up to me, give me 20 quid, and he said, have a drink on us. 20 fucking quid! I mean, and then wanted my Welsh vest back.
I will add on here. I will add, and I'll put a point on, and people go, why did you bring that up? Well, it happened to me in my life. When I won the Welsh title in 94 against a cracking boxer, and he was much better than me. I was just a tough kid. Gareth Lawrence knocked him out in the second round. They claimed he was ill to get him.
Is he in a wheelchair now? Was Guy's in a wheelchair now? Did he have a rugby accident? And...
No, he turned pro and he done well at that.
Okay.
He had 10 fights and I think he won them all. But he'd had a much better amateur career than me. Although I had a good one. I'd been the AB finals, the AB sports. But I was out for 4 years before that with arthritis. I couldn't box. I couldn't even...
You were old before your time, weren't you?
I was old at 20.
He joined the military.
Old rigor mortis kicking in
No, wait for my leg again now.
I was ill with an unfortunate disease which happened, and that's the way it is. But boxing got me back through it.
And you've done all right. Yeah,
you've done all right.
You're fit, you're strong,
you come back
you're healthy.
And they took that chance of me to go away to Canada to box in the Commonwealth Games by saying that he was ill at the time. Well, the video was on YouTube and have a look at it. He doesn't look ill to me, and I tell you what, there wasn't a lot in the fight, but the boy was, he was one of the best boxers I've boxed. And I watched it and I thought, wow, he was great. And I was just fortunate to have to knock him out, because if I hadn't, I probably would have lost him.
Yeah.
And I'll link it to the video, to be fair.
This video is going to be about 4 days long.
I know.
Yeah.
I
spoke to him for all these fights tonight.
I actually boxed Cookie in EV fans as well.
Yeah.
I watched EV fans, yeah. And Cookie, I don't think he was on his best performance, to be honest with you. If he was, I probably would have been more trouble. But
he could bang with his left hook, couldn't he?
Oh, he banged the red man back a bit, but I don't think I was on mine as well either. But we had a fair fight. He beat me, I think 11-7 on points, which was a fair result, I suppose. Yeah. I'd like to say I thought I won. I didn't, and he won. Me and Cookie are good mates. We've been away internationals together, Scotland and everywhere, and the Europeans, and But I will say about Jason Cook, when we went away to the Europeans, wow, what a performance he put up. I think he won 2 fights in a row, and because he'd done so well.
I can tell you something about Cookie as well. Like I say, with regards to, as I'd said earlier, my little bit of stint in prison.
Yeah.
Jason Cook was in at the same time.
I know he was, but we was going to say that.
And, so like, no matter we're in now, we. So Jason Cook was in at the same time, and like I say,
he's gone straight.
It was a case of Jason Cook, while he was in prison, they was allowing him to go outside running around Prescott and what have you, and like getting training all the time. I didn't. There was a boy called Brendan Ahern. Brendan Ahern was a pony ball boxer.
I know
Crazy.
Brendan Ahern.
Yeah, absolute nut job. Great guy, nut job. Right? Me and him, my pad work was hitting slippers on his hands. Right? Hitting slippers on his hands in the cell. Right? And like I say, Jason Cook had the opportunity to. He was
Brendan
just training full
Ahern
time.
was in the army, wasn't he?
I'm not quite sure. It might have been, yeah.
Brendan Ahern kept the army boxing team.
Might have been.
Did he win the British schoolboys?
Probably, yeah.
He kept the army boxing team.
Wait a second, 2 seconds. So anyway, me and Jason was in prison at the same time. Jason won his European title by knockout by boxing a boy called Casamayo, I think. He was getting beaten in the fight.
Yeah, he was.
Brilliant left hook, smacking straight out. On the 4th of May 2002, on the 5th of May 2002, I won a Commonwealth Games gold medal, and we were both in prison at the same time together.
Bloody hell.
There's a coincidence. You must be proud of that.
Yeah.
I tell you what, guys.
Mad.
I'll cut it here because We're going well over.
Hang on, mate.
Go on, Evan. Here's
Ben come up with the army boxing team.
Yeah.
And I think I sparred with him to see how good he was. And he was a British champion, he said. He was fucking shit.
Yeah, he was.
Sorry to swear.
He used to box out.
Sorry,
He used to
don't
box out of Tony Williams' gym, didn't he? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a old boy, but yeah, yeah, proper loose, but nice kid, like, but proper loose.
Yeah.
I went to Tony Williams' gym to spar with John Williams, and another lad there was brilliant. I thought he was brilliant. I was on form at the time, like, is he like that? Stewart, Michael Stewart. He was brilliant. And I'll be honest, at the time, John Williams, Tony Williams' son,
Yeah.
hit a peak in his time, right?
He's dead now, isn't he, John?
Very sad to hear. I didn't realise till recently. Yeah, and I was actually in school with John.
Was you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hit a peak in his time, right? And I've got to get the name of who's the Irish boxer that had a silver medal in the Olympics? Bantamweight.
Oh yeah.
Or featherweight.
What's his name?
What's his name? He lost to Nazim Ahmed.
Yeah.
What's his name? Come on. Who claims he's never been stopped or put down in a fight? Come on, look it up.
Look it up.
Yeah. Who's the Irish boy? Right. Well,
I can't find it. But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Right.
I was going to go out to America and train out anywhere.
Right. Anyway, this lad, there's a lad called Mark Newton, boxer called Eva.
Mark Newton, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Mark,
we used to go up in Spa with Russell Keenan and all the boys up there, and that lad actually won the silver when the other boy won the gold from Ireland in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, get the name. But we went to the Gaelic Games, right? And John Williams was just taking everyone. There was a really good lad from Scotland that John Williams, he beat Mark Newton, the one boy did. And Mark Williams had this Irish boy in the first round. And he took him on the first round with belly shots. Bang! Boy went down. Gone.
The Irish kids, good kids, mate. The Irish kids are good kids.
I've boxed Ireland 3 times, I think it was. I boxed a lad called Eugene McEnany. It was brilliant. I thought he was great. And that's on there. No, I haven't got that on YouTube yet. I boxed him in a tournament in Liverpool, and I boxed a lad called Mark Wickham when I captained the Welsh team down in Swansea. I boxed, but luckily I was on form them nights, because if I wasn't, I'd have been beat. And Eugene was a great boxer, and he went on to be more successful.
McCulloch.
Wayne McCulloch.
No, it's clicked.
Wayne McCulloch.
Wayne McCulloch. That's it?
Yeah, Wayne McCulloch,
Yeah, that's it.
John Williams took
Long
him out of
day,
the
boy.
first round.
Yeah.
With a belly shot, yeah. I was in there. I lost to Joe Mullen in the final in the Gaelic Games. Joe Mullen he lost 4 fights in 44, and to me that was like a legend. And I actually dropped him in the second round, and he beat me on points. It was a majority decision, but I think he won the fight. I think he won the fight, so I accept that. But I got that on video. I've just found it now. Recently, last week, I went down to my father's house and found it.
Yeah.
My father's house had been sold. I can't find the others, but I found that fight.
We'll get them on there.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
Get
It's
on
like
the
Big
YouTube.
Brother, this, isn't it? It's like a Big
It is.
Brother.
We've turned into a go from a podcast to a catch up. But
I know.
But yeah, no, lads. Honestly, thank you very much for coming over. It's been brilliant, and
So we got to go now, have we?
yeah, you're gonna have to get up my house. But in all seriousness, Vin, like, thank you for your stories and talking a little bit from your half. And I'm sure people who will watch this, when I share it to some groups, will relate to it, and you might even get some views from people that you've actually boxed previously.
Oh,
no doubt.
I could name a few.
You've named a couple. We'll see.
Hopefully I haven't upset anyone.
No, not at all. And James, thank you for yourself for coming over. And
My pleasure.
we are just about to watch the Liam Smith versus Chris Eubank Jr. fight. And
Wow.
Yeah, well, Parker's actually in there at the moment now, so he's looks pretty much dominating.
Yeah.
This guy, fair play to the kid that he's coming up. I assume he used to be a cruiserweight because I think that when he weighed in, he was 15 stone, and then Parker was 17 stone something. But
Holding
you
it,
can
isn't
see that, you can see that size is just showing really.
Just
with
enough,
the one
yeah.
he's just walking
Just
down.
putting it on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you guys, and do you know what? With all this conversation, we'll have to do a part 2 at some point.
Yeah.
For now,
Definitely.
I've got some stories, but I won't be able to tell them.
we'll tell them again, Vin. I'll get you on by yourself. Don't worry.
When I was in Sardinia with Joe Kawasaki. No, I won't tell them.
We'll tell them again. Don't worry. We'll save them. We'll call it Joe Kawasaki stories.
No, they look after
We'll get you all together, mate. We'll sit you down.
I didn't manage to say some of the best coaches I've ever had. There was a lad called Tay Dimmock from Chepstow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lad called Norman Smith from the army. Norman Smith. No, Norman Smith. Norman Phillips, sorry. Norman Phillips from the army. And another one was Enzo Kawasaki.
Yeah. Enzo Kawasaki.
Three of the best coaches I've ever had in my life. Them three, Christ, have a mixture of them on you and you could be a pudding and you win a world title.
Yeah.
They would transform you.
Yeah.
Absolutely great boys. You know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
And God rest his soul, Enzo.
Yeah.
Great
You
man.
went about 2 or 3 years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, it's very sadly.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I went over there and I stayed in the Kawasaki house. You've seen that on the... And the good thing is I knew Joe from before, growing up with the schoolboy boxing and all that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was a couple of years old then, but he was a professional then at the time, just won the European title. So he was alright. I was still boxing amateur for the army, so being in the army, couldn't turn pro at the time.
How old was you when you retired?
29.
Yeah. 35 hours.
Yeah, but you went pro, didn't you? When did you
Yeah.
go from amateur to pro?
22. In 2002. I went.
It's a fucking...
Long
the
time.
thing
innit?
is...
Sorry, lads. I'm have to cut it off because I'm busted for the toilet and we're going to watch this boxing.
I need
But yeah,
a
Awesome.
for the,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much, everyone. Cheers.
Pleasure. Thank you.
With retirement and coming back, it's not a long time, 25 fights.